Hello everyone. Today's topic is to look at strategy and alignment. So we're going to do a quick visual whiteboard here to talk about it and explain it. The idea behind it is to make sure everybody knows where north on the compass is, so to speak, and everybody's rowing the boat in the same direction. The idea being is if everybody's rowing the boat in the same direction here, then financial success and supply chain success will come with it. Well, fundamentally, what it comes down to is looking at two categories of strategy. Are you going to try and be a low-cost provider? Or are you going to try and differentiate yourself from your competition? And once you make that choice, then making performance objectives and decisions that support that. So let's take, for example, let's work on the differentiation side. Let's say we want to be a flexible and responsive organization. So if we choose on the differentiation side, then the question becomes, okay, what's going to be our objective as a company? And typically from a performance objective standpoint, we would say, well, we want to be responsive to the customer, both in mix and volume. Well, what does that mean to decisions then? Well, if we look at roles like purchasing as an example, then perhaps we have to consider finding suppliers that are going to be much closer to us. We're going to have shorter lead times so we can tie those back to responsiveness. We wouldn't necessarily want a supplier halfway around the world. If we're looking at it from an operations standpoint, then the question becomes, okay, what do we have to do in operations to allow ourselves to be responsive? And again, we may look for things like shorter lead time. Now, again, these things like shorter lead times, supplier closer, these are just examples of things you have to consider. Perhaps you carry safety stock as a way to be responsive to the customer also. So these are things you have to think about. If we look at supply chain management, then we have to look at perhaps things like production intervals. How often we make it and how much do we make at one time may be smaller, so we do smaller lots more often. If we do things like that, then perhaps we can look at sales and say, you know what, we can make promises to the customer that are going to be much higher and be able to charge more and get a higher price because they're going to be benefiting from the idea of responsiveness and mix. So I'm going to pull up another white screen real quick. The whole idea behind this, when we look at strategy and alignment, we're looking at number one, what's going to be your strategy? Is it going to be low cost or differentiation? And then looking at all the different decisions in your company, and they have to be aligned and supportive of that strategy. So if you choose differentiation, then you have to figure out for each of the different issues or functions within your company, what does that decision have to look like in practice and policy and procedure look like so that we're all making differentiated. Those are aligned decisions behind a strategy. And again, the idea behind it is if we have a north on the compass, low cost or differentiation, and we make decisions that are aligned and supportive of that strategy, then successful performance will come with it.